Hello and welcome to the Social Recruiting Show, where I, Katrina Collier, and my social recruiting specialist mate, Audra Knight, chew the fat on everything to do with social media recruitment and God knows what else. Today, I'm very excited that we're joined by Head of People, Sarah Duxbury from Fletcher's Solicitors, who is not only awesome and has some pretty exciting news to tell us about Fletcher's, she's also the reason that I have an addiction to espresso martinis. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, thank you for having me. I feel very special.
You should. You should.
You want to start by telling us about this espresso martini?
Okay, firstly, number one, this isn't my fault. The last time I saw Katrina, she came to do some social media recruitment training for Fletcher's, and we very kindly took her out for a few beverages post-training, and for some reason on the menu, the espresso martini seemed to light her fire, and now apparently she's addicted to them and it's all my fault.
It is, actually, and Kasha, who's also on the side here, also likes them, so it's not good. Hey, Jim's joined us. Oh, no. So ignore the side stream, Sarah. It's going to go a bit nuts.
I look at nothing but your eyes.
That's the best way forward.
So, Sarah, I've heard that you guys have been doing some serious growing. You're up to, is it 300 people?
Yeah, 300 people in the last 2 years. So we had around, I think it was about 95 staff when I joined 2 years ago in January, and we've just hit 300. So yeah, there's been a bit of epic recruitment going on.
How do you keep up with that?
Well, with a lot of
Prosecco.
With a lot of good workforce planning. Well, for the last year, it's been good workforce planning. For the first 12 months, it's a little bit sort of fly by the seat of your pants because everybody needed to be in now. But yeah, now I've got a really good team. I've got two in my recruitment team now to support me. So feeling less of the need for Valium and more time to have Prosecco. So that's great.
You need to share your secret Santa.
I did.
No, now while we're recording.
I need to. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, because for everyone who's just joined.
This is from my ever adorable CEO.
Prosecco made me do it. I love the way you left the price tag on.
No,
is it?
price free.
It's your
price
card.
free.
Oh, right.
It is price free. It is price free.
But I actually think, having met your CEO, that actually sets the scene quite well for what he's like and why Fletcher's is a little bit different. Because my thing, I mean, hence the title was social media, legal sector. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But actually, you guys are really quite cool. So.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say so. No, we do try and market ourselves as a different kind of law firm, not your usual stuffy, quill-toting, paper-filled offices, as you might expect. Ed is a massive character. Anybody on the session, if you Google him, you will see as much and lots of examples of that. But he really wants us to be quite modern and forward-looking and have sort of a different outlook on such, which hence why he hired me as head of people. I'm not a lawyer. My background is all retail. So for them to even bring me in was a bit of a risk. And since other appointments into the firm have gone down the same vein, really.
Oh, what did you just share, Audra?
It's just a really great employment brand video. You guys have a bunch of them. I saw them. I checked them out this morning. Are they new?
No, they're quite old, those, actually. We did the first tranche of them about sort of 18 months ago. We've just done a couple more for a specific departmental campaign. But they're brilliant. Actually, I really wish I could share the outtakes video with you because Ed, our CEO, is fantastic in that. But again,
I'm sure there is a way that you can share that with us.
I will send it to you.
Facebook secret group.
I will send it to you.
Well, I think that might be really actually good for your employment brand to show that you're fun and don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, I think apart from it opens with Ed losing his train of thought and then saying something which kind of undoes the entire employer brand. So it was a bit like, no, maybe a bit too far the other way.
Oh, he's so fabulous.
I know he is. I know.
It was very cool because he sat in on training and heckled the whole way through. But one of the things you guys were looking, it was great. I loved it. I love being challenged. But what was so great the whole way through, Audra, and I know you'll appreciate it with your background, is your emphasis on getting the recruiters and the marketers to work together. Would you have any tips that you could share? Because I know that's a huge problem with most people, that there's this us and them, like either HR or the police, recruiters are, you know, God knows, and marketers. Oh, don't touch my brand.
Yeah, I think that's really strange, actually. I don't understand why there is that split because I think when you're working in HR from an internal point of view with your employees, you've got to communicate a lot of stuff out and you want it to be on brand. So why not work with marketing? But to be fair, when I first joined Fletcher's, and I would keep asking Alex, our head of marketing, is this okay? Is this okay? He would say, why do you keep asking me all these questions? Why do I care if it's good? And I was like, well, it needs to be on brand, it needs to be on value, and so on. Over the, sort of the last 2 years, our relationship's really grown, actually. I will get them to come in. We can do like group hug. Because they wanted to, they kept saying they were going to walk around the back of me the whole time. So I'm going to drag them in at some point.
Like I can actually see.
Come on and get on YouTube. So this is a prime example, because we used to be 2 floors apart as well. So now we literally sit back to back to each other. So there's my 6 and they're 5, and it's just constant conversation all day about different things, whether it's recruitment.
Maybe they probably can't hear, but maybe if you could relay why do they trust you to not screw up the employer brand?
Why do you trust me to not screw up employer brand?
We don't.
Lies. He's new. He's on probation. I'm going to get rid of him.
The contract will not be signed.
Yeah.
Is Shalene Zim about a hero?
Yeah. Talking.
It's a team thing today, Audra.
I think the reason we trust Sarah with it is because it needs to be internal as much as external. Like, there's no point marketing doing loads of brand externally if no one internal recognises it as well.
So that's your top tip, isn't it? Really, get internal as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because so often it's just this external. I mean, Audrey, you must find that with what you're doing, it's very much an outward push, not an inward. I love that idea.
A lot of my clients struggle with marketing, getting on board, but I think you're right. I think it's cool that they're so close together. Like when I was a recruiter, marketing was a whole different field. We didn't even talk to them.
No, it's probably worked out quite well, actually, not being in my little office room and sitting with these guys, because it actually kind of illustrates the point in the practicalities of it, is that we do. And all day, to be honest, we just sit and have conversations about, I've had this idea and I've thought about this about the career site, and we need to do a little bit of new year, new job. Can we do a bit of chatter about that between Christmas and New Year? So we kind of get a lot of good conversation, but just really ad hoc conversation.
Which is so cool. What's her Twitter handle? I feel like we need to give credit for that amazing tip.
She's going to come and like show it.
I love it. That's so cool. Because that was such a top tip. But I think there is just too much focus out. But I guess I come at it as Audrey does, as they're bringing the people in from the outside.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she makes a really valid point. There's no point in having
Miss
Joyski. Yay.
There's no point in kind of selling the brand to new employees coming in, or potential employees, or people coming for interview, if once they get in the business and then it's just not what it says on the outside, and it's a completely different experience once you're in.
I'm typing that out. Sorry, can you tell?
How do you communicate it to the internally versus externally?
Internally, we do a lot around all different levels, really. So we have a monthly brief every month, which Ed does himself. He does it every month now. We do our Love Awards every month, which is our Live Our Values Every Day. So it's based on our 4 key values of trust, innovation, development, performance. And they're non-management led, so it's all peer recognition, and they get announced in the monthly brief, so everybody gets involved with that, and here's the culture. We have staff forums. Us middle management get together every month and share ideas and so on. We've just revamped our intranet, so that we do tons of comm stuff through there now. It's just constant, and everything we do, how we recruit, how we train, and how we manage performance is all based around our 4 values as well.
Do you know what I really loved about their place, Audra, is that instead of having the do not flush tampons, ex-boyfriends, jumpers, all this kind of stuff down the toilet, on the back of the toilet door, what do you have on the back of your toilet door? Your newsletter.
Oh, we have our newsletter.
It's brilliant. Screw your nose up. Maximum impact. Everyone uses the loo.
And you know what? How many times do you read that during the day? Because
exactly. I think it's the coolest. I loved it.
Can you go back to
I like the quiz question.
I never heard the ex-boyfriend part.
Oh, Virgin Trains.
Oh, that's on Virgin Trains, yeah.
Which of course I would have got up to see,
Yeah,
wouldn't I? Aren't you Virgin Trains?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a whole
yeah.
thing joking about don't flush ex-boyfriends, jumpers, etc.
Goldfish. Yeah. So the back of our toilet door is our newsletter. So we have all our new starters, anyone who's been promoted. There's a random quiz question. We did a big marketing survey to sort of find out random facts. So it'll be 26% of people said that if they could live anywhere, it'd be America. And it's all Fletcher's like own staff. And then we put our things like family fun days, Christmas party. So it's not heavy reading.
Why America?
I don't know.
Petrol's cheaper.
Only 26% though.
Warmer.
Weather. You could just kind of go from one end to the other and still be in the sun all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Shopping.
Now, do you actually do the newsletter yourself, or does your team? Who's the response? Marketing.
These guys. So marketing do.
Yeah, that can be a lot of work. Yeah. The intranet, is that the same? Do they do the intranet stuff, or do you?
We provide some content for it, but yeah, they kind of control it and put it all on brand for us and everything. But yeah, no, we'll send a lot of content to them and they'll distribute it for us.
I have to say something really inane, because it's that time of the year, 23rd of December. Show us your Christmas nails. See, I've seen them flashing up on the screen and seeing it's 23rd.
I'll try not to talk with my hands too much. It doesn't look like I'm kind of big fish, little fish, cardboard boxing around everywhere. But
So one of the things I really wanted to touch on was the candidate outreach, as you lovely Americans like to call it, Audra. How is it received with social media as far as going into the legal sector? Because obviously, if you're going after developers, the internet's their playground. If you're going after marketers, it's easy. But what about some of your roles? Must be.
We were really surprised actually. We did our first sort of full spectrum recruitment campaign, as in we did print, we did our careers site, so we did an addition to that, and we also did a promoted tweet for a senior clinical negligence lawyer role, which was a remote working role, or we'd pay for people to relocate. So that in itself was a bit of a groundbreaking thing. It's like, wow, lawyers can work from home full time, and that's fine. And so we did that full package together, and we actually recruited a senior lawyer through Twitter. But it paid for itself because we didn't get it through an agency. So it's fantastic. And he saw that.
How much was your promoted tweet?
I think it was about £5,000, because we were going after everybody who followed the Law Society Gazette, which is like tens of thousands of people. So it was a big promoted tweet.
But also, I would have thought Culture Fit, there would be a better fit as well, because you tend to find people who are on Twitter a lot more open and chatty, and I'm grossly generalising here.
Well, to be fair though, we get a lot of potential sort of candidates that come through agency who are the type of people who will only ever job search through a recruitment agency, because that's just, they want to do anything themselves. It's kind of, I can pass off the responsibility to someone else. And more often than not, they're not the right people, as in they're not the right cultural fit for us, because they tend to be the quite more traditional, I don't want to say old fashioned, but the more traditional way of working and the way we run our cases. And we're a paperless office. Shock horror for a law firm. So for people to not have their own printer can be quite discombobulating. So to be honest, the people that we have attracted through either through our own career site or have tended to be a little bit more open to different ways of working.
Who introduced the paperless?
I can't take any. We've been quite a while now, quite a few years we've been paperless.
Wow.
I'd say maybe about 4 or 5 years.
It's quite a, Kesh has written, I would not do well without a notebook.
Oh no, you can have a notebook. That's fine. You don't get glared at if you go into a meeting with actual pen and paper.
I love it. Actually, I've realised I'm missing a few other comments here. Kesh has written, in your typical company, this would all be staged. HR and recruiters are all kept in some dark room. I love it.
No, this is natural light. We have natural light. We're by the sea. It's all very.
I know. It's very, very cool. It's lovely. It's huge, isn't it? Because it's all open plan.
Yeah.
It just goes on and on and on.
Which again is a bit of a strange thing to have in a law firm, in that you normally have your managers kind of shut away from the junior people, shall we say, and our directors have an open door policy. If the door's open, you can walk in, any member of staff, and just have a conversation with them. So, and they stick to it as well, which is quite nice.
Which is really cool. I know we've just said the word young, and after Lane last week talking digital natives. I know one big thing, and I hate this word, but I know that you guys did a whole load of research around millennials. Sorry, Kasia. I feel like I have to direct a sorry at her every time I say it. And I know just before I came on, I was saying I was reading this shocking image that was, I'm just opening it again, saying they're lazy, unproductive, self-obsessed, all these horrible, gross generalizations. But you did some actual research, didn't you? Because you were having friction. Is that right, within the team?
Yeah, so we have our very senior lawyers, but I think it's 70% of the firm is under 30, so we're very, very young. Without using the term millennial, we are quite young. But obviously, the people we've got in senior knowledge positions are what it would be potentially baby boomers. Some of them, and if you look at this with the age groups, and we were. The junior staff were demanding, rude, ignorant, and the senior staff were unapproachable, sitting in an ivory tower, very dismissive, and so on. So we did. We got we brushed off our research skills and did a bit of quite generic, I would say, research across the generations. But then we ran workshops for the whole department about this is why you can't have a useful conversation at the moment. And you know what? We've not really had any problems since.
So is it teaching them how to communicate with each other, or just why they're different? Or
I think it was around expectations of communication, because obviously the junior staff would ask a question and expect a response like that, whereas the senior member staff will be, I'll come back to that when I'm ready, but I don't see why I should have to tell you I'm going to come back to you when I'm ready, because you should just wait until I'm ready. But now they actually, so I think it was more around the expectations of communication as opposed to we can't communicate. But it was
so how did you settle it? You just who won?
I love the way it's a battle.
Yeah, we basically we put them in a room and just said, fight it out. And no, we ran workshops that were all mixed age group workshops, and sort of said, "Oh, do you understand this?" And so there wasn't really any sort of big science behind it. I think it was just taking a bit of time and listening to people and getting them to have a better conversation and a bit of a safe space rather than in the pressure of day-to-day work.
And workshops just help them get along better on their own. Just get to know each other.
Yeah, I think so. I think also because we've obviously recruited so many people, it's so many new faces, so many changes, the teams grow so differently, and obviously we've restructured a few places as well. So it was a lot of basically giving them time to build a relationship in general, because there was so much change going on and innovation, and like everything was kind of quite fast paced. So it's just to give them an hour and a half to kind of, let's just sit and have a conversation, because it was all the same department. It worked quite well.
I think it is, technology and now social media as well, that's made us so incredibly impatient. Like you just expect an answer now.
Yep.
I tweet out a complaint, I want an answer back now. It's that. So, I get it, and I'm older and I still get that. I want people to answer me now. So,
except in our case, it would be, this is my query on a risk assessment. Oh, I've not had the response for 10 minutes. Where's my response for my risk assessment? And then the person on the other side would be going, how rude. They are so rude. I will get to them when I'm ready.
Kasia's made a very good point in the side here by building personal relationships instead of keeping alive the stereotypes. You can work better. Who thought? Imagine that. Actually communicating in person.
I think, we didn't actually kind of, all right, let's give everybody a badge. You're this generation, you're this generation, you're this generation. And now this is how you now speak to each other. It was just kind of, were you aware of this in principle? No, I wasn't. Now I am. Oh, actually, I might be a bit more self-aware about it.
Very cool.
Very cool. We're off topic, but it's all good. I love it.
Yeah. It's fine.
So what's been your biggest challenge with implementing the social media, do you think?
Getting people who are tweeting on behalf of the company on brand, as in have a personality. So showing the personality of the brand, but also getting them doing it. So I suppose my biggest challenge would be, and I'm sure she won't mind me calling her in vain, Alison, who works in recruitment for me. She's 50 years old.
She doesn't look it, to be fair.
No, she really doesn't. She's really
good. And she's really, really good at what she does, isn't she, as well?
Yeah. But basically she's learned all that herself in the last 2 years, because when I joined, she was sort of the HR recruitment, bit of everything, bit of nothing, didn't really get any attention and stuff. And it was a case of, right, well, I need you to now do recruitment because you can spot a Fletcher's person 10 miles off. So I got her up and running on like your usual LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. And now, I mean, even just this week, she's now, I've found this person on LinkedIn. The profile isn't active. I'm not going to pay to go and find him. So I'm going to look for him on Facebook. And look, he's got a friend in common with someone who works in our IT team. So I rang the person in the IT team and said, can you speak to this person about this job? And I fell off my chair. And I was like, my work is done. I'm going
my work is done. Love it.
Yes.
Praise me. Sorry, Audra, I said to do that. But it is that. It's like, why don't we connect it? And it's, as you saw, it's so easy just to connect those dots. Yeah. And Jim is that.
Yeah. So I think,
say hello to Jim Stroud. He's like the coolest. He's just popped back.
Hi, Jim.
He's got FOMO. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So I think the biggest challenge has been trying to get away from agency to direct marketing with these guys, and also using social. And we've seen a difference between 210 grand to 70 on agency.
Wow.
In the last 2 years saving. So she's doing something right somewhere. All hail.
I assume that she's getting a portion of that as her Christmas bonus, the saving. I'll drop her a note in case she hasn't thought of it.
Yeah.
I was just having a blab with Sarah, and it's all recorded. But do you get to?
She said,
I assume you get to invest that back in. I mean, to training or to whatever. I mean, back into your people, don't you?
Yeah.
Katrina meddling.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think. We have been able to invest it back because we've been able to invest in a really good leadership development program. We're running 150 training courses a month, pretty much, I think, on average now, for all staff, whether they're legal, non-legal, a mix of legal training and personal development training. So, yeah, that money's not been taken off me and put elsewhere. I still have my budget, but we can use it in better, or we use it to build our career site, or we use it more campaign-driven recruitment rather than just throwing it at people who don't really deserve it.
That's amazing. And do you then take, because I mean, I'd be sharing to the world that you invest so much, like 150 training courses a month. Do you put that out there?
Yeah. Yes, we do. But I think we got to the point where the marketing social was all about my team and me. So Alex kind of said, hang on a moment. We are a law firm, maybe we should talk about something else, like our clients or something like that. So, yeah, we're trying to find the balance now between pushing out all our people agenda, which obviously which is brilliant because I just sit there and tell them to do it. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. And, you know, what he needs to do as well from a consumer point of view.
So one thing you said was your personality of brand. I mean, I know when I was up there, I was very much talking about people being themselves, and because obviously Alison is the face, isn't she? She makes the telephone call, she makes the initial email or whatever. Is that what you mean by that, or are you meaning more the Fletcher's personality, which is quite unique? It's like, how do you bundle that into a
I think
thing?
I know it's a bit of both, really. I remember Ed and I presented at the Legal Practice Management Conference back in May, and we were talking about how we've managed to take recruitment away from agency and talked about apprenticeships and how we're all really sort of excited about stuff like that. And we were talking about Twitter, and one of the questions asked to me was, well, do you have a personal Twitter account and a work Twitter account? And I said, well, no, because if I just had a work one, it'd be really, really boring. It'll be like, oh, thought leadership, we have a vacancy, or Fletcher's done something. And then the other one would be like shoes, holidays, oh, I drank too much. Here's all the pictures of my weekend, fingernails, the claw. Yeah. And I just thought, and I said, no. I said, you know, if on a Friday night I've had a bit too many much to drink and I put a silly picture on Twitter, then why does that matter? Because it shows that, oh yeah, there's some personality in this firm. And I encourage, I think Alison does loads of her dogs. Oh, is it snowing? That's so cool.
It's awesome.
Jojo Keys is making it snow. Okay.
Oh,
Very
that's
cool.
so cool. I've lost my train of thought now.
I know.
That's
Oh,
really-
we're talking about,
I
no,
actually
you were-
thought. I
You're
actually
talking about
thought.
being yourself and being.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that was kind of a bit wow, because obviously we were presenting to a lot of small law firms, and actually on the feedback we got, somebody had said, "Well, I would want my head of HR posting drunk tweets on a Friday night," and I think that just shows the difference between a Fletcher's personality and others' personality. And if you follow Ed on Twitter, he's very much the same. Lots of leadership articles, lots of really important stuff, and then a few sweary things about Everton, because he's not a fan.
Which is
So
fine.
I think it just,
Does that work?
shows,
No.
yeah, it shows a bit of fun.
Too. Woohoo! Sorry. This is going to defeat the.
I genuinely thought
Can you tell us what Ed's Twitter handle is? I want to check that out.
got broken.
You put a slash and then snow.
Edward B. Fletcher.
Sorry, it's all frightfully important. It's Christmas. It can't be serious. But to be honest, that goes quite well with Ed and his swearing and being distracted.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
I mean, 300 staff is so cool. I saw that in the news this morning.
Yeah, I know. It's just mad, basically. We're actually running out of space. I think we have to start doing bunk desks.
Put on each other's laps.
Yeah, maybe not. Well, actually, to be fair, they just put a load of new desks in, and they're a little bit smaller than our desks. So I'm just like, oh, I really hope we don't get moved again, because I like my bigger desk.
I had that done to me at one of the tech recruitment companies I work for, and the desks were so damn small. Yeah, that's how they got more of us in. It was shocking. Rack 'em and back 'em.
It'll end up being like,
well, because I think it does affect your day. If that's where you spend your entire day, makes it quite hard. So.
Yeah. No, but it's just really, really exciting to hit that landmark. Really, I didn't think we'd get there this quickly. And yeah, and you know what? As well, our retention rate hasn't gone up, so we're still keeping the same amount of staff in terms of staff turnover. We're not losing people, which again, I think it just shows how much effort we've been putting in to the culture of the firm. To say, what you see on the outside is the same when you get in, because then we're not losing people out the back door as people are coming in the front door. So
keep expanding.
Brilliant.
Is that the plan, or you're pretty much there?
I think, well, the plan for next year isn't that dramatic. I think it'll probably be about another 50 over the 12 months. We still outsource a couple of things that I know we want to bring back in at some point, but I don't think that'll be next year. I think that'll be more sort of 2017, 18.
I love the fact
But we have to get the roof garden sorted, and then we can go sit in the roof garden.
you've got that great area out the front, though, haven't you, as well? Well, we may have had a beverage.
But we could do the roof.
Is the open source or open floor plan much more common over there in Europe, or is that pretty new?
I think it depends on the industry, because I would say my background's retail, and every head office I've been has always been open plan. Whereas we have people who join Fletcher's who are a bit like, oh, right, okay, so I don't sit in an office and my boss doesn't sit in an office, and it's a bit different. So I think it just depends which industry, really.
Yeah, that's true. I've always been in that sales environment, which is open plan. Most of my clients that I've walked into have been open plan, but then remember, a lot southeast based, not northwest of England, which also makes a difference as well. There are regional differences as well.
Yeah.
We have a question from Kasha.
Yeah,
do you want me to read it, Audra, or with you?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it. How do you make sure you get the right people in? Is it just the one person who was mentioned finds them that assesses the cultural fit? And also, do a lot of people interview them, or just one? It's just my follow-up question.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It used to be Alison that did every single interview in the entire
Poor
world,
Alison.
which was not exactly practical. I know.
She drinks Prosecco too.
Yeah, so oh, don't make me laugh. You keep making me lose my train of thought. Yeah. So what we did is we actually created a toolkit for any recruiting manager or supervisor. So we use a competency-based model, but it's value-driven. So it's not just, what are you capable of doing in the job, and, can you be a good lawyer, and, client care and so on. We ask questions around our 4 values. We ask things like, what would your best friend say about you? Questions that kind of catch people off guard a little bit, but it kind of draws out their personality a bit better, and obviously we score accordingly.
The booms come in, then I realised there was an animal attached.
This is Max.
I'm a crazy cat lady.
Yeah. Oh my god,
Oh, she's so cute.
You completely have to follow each other on Instagram.
Totally. Totally.
I've got to do my,
I see loads of pictures of my
do my
cat.
blood photo.
Maxwell's
Got to be done.
Oh, dear.
It's very professional this week. It is Christmas though. We should be drinking prosecco.
Yeah.
Fair. But actually, not you, Audra, because it's
We
way too
should.
early for you.
I'll wait at least an hour.
I could
Yeah.
force one
Do
down.
you know, I've been moving the map around.
Just
Can you
saying.
see the map, the top right?
I don't see it.
Oh my God, there's people in from Australia. There's someone in from Melbourne.
That's
Which is so
awesome.
cool.
I don't see.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
If that means they're live, I don't know if the blobs mean they're live, but anyway, that's so cool. We have a completely global, considering the time in the morning it is for them, like 2:30.
Yeah.
Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
It's the
Yeah, it
hair.
is. It's all about the quiff. But going back to, I mean, I just do so love that fact you're so open. I mean, it's showing obviously in your retention figures and backing up everything I always say. But I just think, God, why do people insist on being this corporate logo? I just outright will not interact with that. Frustrating.
I mean, we find that with Glassdoor, because we love Glassdoor, even if people say horrible things about us. We find it the best kind of information, because even when you're sat in a staff forum or asking for feedback or, you know, doing Survey Monkeys, you know, just kind of get to kind of, I don't know, temperature check how people feel about the business. Glassdoor, for some reason, they feel so much more. I think it's because you have to go through such a rigmarole to get an account and leave a review. It's like, well, if I'm going to go on, I'm going to go on hard. And we respond to them and try and get people into a conversation about what they don't like, what they're really happy about. So we say, we're really proud of that. We want to keep it going. Yeah, it's definitely something that's really important to us. Or, for example, there was one around, I think there's things going on that I'm not being told about. The directors don't tell us enough. And, you know, we kind of took that to top level and said, okay, right, well, Ed should do all the monthly briefs because he's the CEO, he's the figurehead of the company, he's the charisma, he's the big personality that kind of filters down to the rest of us. And that's really been well received. Gary now actually sends out financial information throughout the month, where we're up to target, who's doing what. And as we've seen our more reviews, we've said, the communication's really good. I know everything that's going on. And, you know, it's good because it's a measure that we can't control in any way, shape or form, you know, directly. We have to actually do things to then randomly get that feedback. And I've seen other who will remain unnamed, who've had sort of people reply, whoever's doing their replying, which actually says the marketing manager, which I find quite fun, saying, please do come to our office and speak to us and tell us these problems, and then we may exit you from the building at 10 to 5 on a Friday. Which can be a bit like, oh God, that's awful.
I need to know which page that was on.
I know. I'm not going to lower myself.
Actually,
to name them.
My last client of the year, actually, which was quite cool. Not in this country either. Made it even more fun. Was telling me that, because I always say, if you've got some really negative reviews, obviously you need to balance it out with some good ones. So go and talk to the people who've been with you a really long time, who are really brought in. You want more people like that. Not all on the same day, not from HR. Oh, marketing, clearly. But they did it. They did a blanket email. So, of course, what happens? They all jumped on there and wrote negative reviews. All the people who were really annoyed. It was like, no, it has to be that personal go up. I mean, I know it's kind of jigging the system a bit, but you got to balance it out. But I do love the fact that you've taken the bad stuff and done something with it as well, which is also essential.
Yeah, well, the thing that I really, really like, and I say this till I'm blue in the face, is the fact that we've got something like 16 interview reviews on there now, because we say interview to everybody. Have you heard of Glassdoor? Will you please go and give us a review? And we also do a random Survey Monkey as well. So we've got internal feedback. And I think of those 16, 2 people got offered a job. So the rest weren't offered a role. They said, no, they weren't suitable. And they're all positive reviews, all of them. So I really enjoyed the review. It was really challenging. I really understood, you know, I love my interviews. They had so much personality. They were really nice. I felt really welcome. I really liked the feel of the company. And that's people who are not even going to walk through the door, and they're walking away with a really good impression of us, and will say to us, oh yeah, you should go there, or you should apply for a job
And the
there.
fact is, you might pick them up again later, because it might be they weren't right now and they're right in 2 years' time, or...
Yeah, but they'll probably now be following us on Twitter or Facebook. You know, they'll be part of our little kind of social media family. So when the right role does come out, or they will reapply, or they will tell the family, or they will tell the friends. So then that's really
You do any of the paid services, or just replying in the free stuff?
Just the free stuff at the moment. But I did meet up with Glassdoor in Berlin last year, and they were kind of like, oh my God, you can't better your profile anymore. You guys are really good. Come on a webinar. So I'm looking forward to that. I think we might have a bit of a fun relationship over the next 12 months or so with Glassdoor, which I'm quite looking forward to. I say, because I'm a big believer in using it, because I say there's accolades now, things like, Great Places to Work, Sunday Times Top 100, where you've got companies that are like number 4 or number 2 or whatever, and then you go on the Glassdoor and they do not have one good review. So I think there's such that discourse. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a top company, but
it always seems like they're paid
to
get it as well. There's that cynicism that goes on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so,
well, that's what
I'm sure I've said this before, and I'm sure Audra's heard it. I just love Glassdoor, and I wish it had been there when I'd left the odd company and had a really bad exit interview, which was like, bye. They didn't care. So, but actually, I must say, there's also Indeed to watch out for. Indeed reviews. And Facebook reviews now as well, because they've just made a big change, which my last blog was about, and therefore they're a lot higher than they used to be. Actually, particularly for you, because of the legal services. It'd be very easy to find you on Facebook.
Yes.
Goes and checks Facebook. The worst part is you'll get people look at your page and think it's crap and give you a 1-star, and you're like, thanks for that. I don't even know who you are. Because your Facebook page is bad. So, quite interesting.
Yeah.
What sites do you use for sourcing? I mean, Facebook, you mentioned, Twitter, LinkedIn, anything else? Or mostly them?
Those are our kind of. We've also got our careers site, which drives most people directly to us, actually, which is fantastic. We try and make that as more of a destination space rather than a list of jobs. So we try and get our personality across and what it means to be Fletcher's person. Fletcher's and I've not even had a Prosecco. Yeah. God, that was so off-brand. It's all right. He's
listening. He turns around every time. He's on the blab.
No, that's funny.
Oh no, that's so embarrassing. Look,
absolutely hilarious.
Stalking
I can see us on the screen. That's the funniest thing ever. He's watching the blab in the background. Brilliant. Just love it. Love it.
If you ever think cynical that people in marketing don't have a really good relationship with Fletchers, I don't know what else I can do to show you.
I feel the need to try and capture that. I hope you don't move.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, let me zoom in on that. I got it. I'll tweet that out later. This is how you get your branding to work with you.
Exactly. You sit them behind you and then you bully them all the time. Say, I want this. No,
that's not how completely crazy. Social media monitoring at its finest level. Good point, Jim. I like his thinking.
About your careers.
Yeah. No, but
well, you mentioned your career.
No, carry on.
More money into it. What kind of stuff did you do? Like showing your personality, you said, and the culture.
Yeah, so we originally started off sort of Meets and Fletcher's people. So the people on there are real staff. So I think we've got one girl who started as an office junior and has worked her way up to our RTA manager now, a guy who joined as a graduate, went to trainee, now qualified solicitor, people who joined as apprentices and are now in have a full-time job. And then we grew that to include all our video content. So the videos that you were sharing before from YouTube, they're all on our careers site. All our staff benefits and things like that. We also then included our senior clinical negligence recruitment campaign, which is a bit on there now. And we've just been trying and make it more and more accessible. So, the 3-click rule, 3 clicks to apply. We try and stick to that as much as we can. We've got rid of the whole send an email to jobs. Yeah. You actually apply through the website now. And the next thing we're going to do is put up all our work experience and vacation scheme information, because we're getting so much more queries about that. And, people want to come do work experience with us. And I don't know if you're aware, but we've got a really good relationship with a website called Legal Cheek, who run all the student law events. They're so hysterical on Instagram. Even if you're not a law student, you have to
Legal Cheek.
They do make me cry with Legal Cheek.
Okay, I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, they are. It's so much fun. But they're quite So they do a lot of information for law students around sort of all sorts of really careers, study, and so on. And we do a lot of work with them now as well. They just did.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good. We just did because this summer we did our first ever graduate summer scheme for 4 students from around the Northwest, and they did a blog for us on it. So he was actually in the office that day, their final day, and did some Instagram videos. So if you want to watch some of them, they're quite cool. So we wanted to kind of keep the momentum with that as well, which is really good. So now we're kind of in another social space, in a more kind of student sort of university graduate. Which is really good.
That's where they are. And
they're hanging out on the internet.
Actually, Jose, we talking about Snapchat next week. That's a step too far for me. I'm too old.
Sarah, are you on Snapchat?
I just forget. I've got Snapchat, but I forget to use it. I'll kind of get into it for about a minute, and then I forget.
I can't even get into it for 30 seconds.
I like to... It's because, though, if it's something that good, I want to capture it forever. I don't want it to disappear, and I forget to, like, download it. You know what I mean? But I tend to use it for embarrassing videos of me singing in the car drunk with my husband when he's picking me up.
He's terrible. A very good husband.
Absolutely. He's a very good. See, they're laughing behind me now because I showed them the video. It was awful. I was trying to rap. It was terrible. So
Did he take it?
I have to follow you.
No, it was I did it to myself. I don't know why. I tormented myself. I was like, this is going to be brilliant. I think it's going to be so funny.
We've got a tip in from Jim. Use the app Kaboom. It lets you share expiring pics on any social network.
Oh, okay. Oh, brilliant. So I can save all these embarrassing things I keep filming.
I love the fact David didn't do it. You did it yourself. Awesome.
You mentioned blogging. Is that just marketing that does like any content creation, or do you do a little bit here and there?
It needs to be my New Year's resolution to do a blog. I think, I really should be doing one. I rant far too much to not do one.
I think you should do it. Because when you say that, you go, right. So I'm all about, if anything makes you do that, don't do it. But I reckon you could do pretty damn amazing 30-second videos, and next year is all going to be about 30-second video. You can upload it straight to YouTube. You can slice it, put it onto Instagram.
And then you'd get the hair going on.
Yeah, it could literally be how to create.
I know. Have you noticed it's going flatter as we've gone on? Have you noticed?
But that would be the best way for you, because then you could easily put out a whole load of content quite quickly.
I just don't think I have the attention span for like longer than 100 words, unfortunately. I need to teach
if you ask Jim, if Jim answers on the side how many words are required in a 30-second video, that boy is the king of 30-second videos. So brilliant. Your colleague has just added 30 seconds of Sarah into the marketing plan. Credit at Winning Impress. Thank you very much.
You know what? That'll probably make them so much happy. To be fair, that's what I do. I turn around and go, can you just do this for me? Can you just do this? And then, so it probably is already 30 seconds, but like 12 times a day. They probably want a wall, to be honest. Or a doorbell at least to say, oh, it's Sarah, so you can screen.
But I just think, when you think about it, like you're saying, your own attention span and the thought of sitting down and writing 300 words, I see some of these long blogs and I just tune out. And even a video now, if it's 2 minutes, I'm like, I'm really struggling. Even when they're doing everything to try and keep me there. But 30 seconds, no problem.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. There we go. I'll practice with Snapchat. And then if it all goes wrong.
But via this new app, Kaboom.
Kaboom. I'm going to write that down.
Can you believe? Nearly out of time already. It goes so fast.
Oh my gosh.
Why not post a graphic of a handwritten note and hold it for 30 seconds? There you are. That's
still got to take the time.
Check out Jim on YouTube. He's actually someone to check out, Sarah, to get ideas. Video.
Okay, doke.
He's so fun.
He's the man. Okay. Yeah, and you'll also find some gorgeous photos of Jim, Kasha, and myself floating around out there as well, because we were all together at Sosu in Amsterdam. It was so much fun.
You stuffing your face in other people's photos? I can't imagine.
No, I was drinking. What else would I be doing? So, Audrey, do you have any final questions for Sarah?
I think we covered most of them. The last one I was just curious about is employee referrals. You mentioned that you use those a lot. Does it work out for you?
Yeah. It really does actually. Even more so since we brought in referral bonuses for people and improved them as well. So if you refer someone into a junior role, they get paid £500. And if you refer someone in a senior role, so we normally differentiate between people with a 4-week notice people and people with a 12-week notice period, it's £3,000. So, and that's worked quite well for our cost company. Actually, we've had quite a few come in on referral, maybe about 3 or 4. So yeah, we're paying £3,000 to people, but it's still less than half of an agency fee. So.
Wow.
And again, I mean, that would work weighted for where you are. That wouldn't work so well down here in London, but for where you are, that's a really good fee. Really good. They're a bit greedy down here.
Yeah.
Well, people.
Well, because our entry level teams progress up through the firm so quickly that, you know, for the guys who are in sort of our customer contact team, for our inception teams, for them to be continually referring people, it's quite a nice
little earner on the side.
Extra bonus.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pretty much.
So how can we find you? So we've got your Twitter handle. People want to, I type it out?
Yeah.
Before it disappears. There it is. This is you.
Yep.
Can people drop you questions via Twitter?
Of course.
The woman. That's what I'm going to write here. Actually, I'm going to.
The woman.
With the criff. I can't spell that word. How do you spell that word? With the hair. There we go. So that's really cool. So thank you so much, Sarah, for coming and joining us. And particularly for getting your employer branding team to jump in as well, because that made it so much fun.
Oh, I know. It's just such a shame because there's only like 2 of them in today because everyone's broken up for Christmas. So we could have had like a proper like scrum hugging. That would have been so much fun. But,
yeah.
We can come back when you're halfway through those 50 hires for the year. Bring that on.
Yeah, exactexactly. And then you can come. You need to do like quiffs, and then we can be like 3 quiffs.
I'm so not doing that. There are wrinkles under this fringe, right? If you want to look 10 years younger, you cut a fringe. It's as simple as that. So next week we have Jose Watts joining us, which is so exciting. He's going to talk about Snapchat and also just doing recruitment better, lots of stuff about candidate experience. Again, it will be on a Wednesday because of this Christmas, New Year stuff. So hope you can join in. Oh, and someone's just joined us and we're just signing off. Bless. Doing their first time. Thanks so much, Sarah, and both of you. Have a fantastic Christmas and New Year. Oh, I'll see you before New Year, but Christmas and New Year for you.
I hope to see you soon, Sheila.
That was my liver. My liver just groaned. Thanks again. Take care. Bye.
Brilliant.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.